Planting a garden is one of life's great pleasures, seeds sown, nurtured, and brought to fruition. But I've learned over the years that a little planning goes a very long way. One wrong move at the start can turn that dream of a bountiful harvest into a nightmare. Are you making common mistakes that could ruin your dream garden? Stick around and let's find out how to avoid them. Welcome to Don't Do This Guide, the channel where we help you avoid common gardening pitfalls and make your garden thrive. Subscribe and hit the bell icon so you don't miss out. We might wish with all our hearts to grow a certain plant, but the simple fact is that we garden in the real world, not a wished-for one. Your climate zone is your garden's address. It tells you how cold it is likely to get in winter, how long the growing season is, and how much rainfall you can expect. Ignore it at your peril. Most seed packets and plant labels will tell you which zone a plant is happiest in. Don't stray too far from this guidance. You might get away with it for a season or two, but sooner or later nature will give your plant a very clear message that it is not welcome. Far better to choose plants that will positively thrive in your region. Take your time. Do your research. A healthy, well-suited plant is a happy plant, and a happy plant will reward you with its bounty. We gardeners are always being urged to feed our plants. And it's true, healthy growth needs a good supply of nutrients. But before you reach for the fertilizer, stop and think. What does your soil actually need? Just like us, plants need a balanced diet. Too much of one nutrient can be as bad as not enough of another. The only way to know what your soil needs is to do a soil test. It's a very simple process, and there are lots of home testing kits available. You basically take a small sample of your soil, mix it with water, and then use a testing strip to measure the pH level and the levels of key nutrients. Armed with that knowledge, you can then choose the right type of fertilizer, if indeed you need to add any at all. Take the time to understand your soil, and it will thank you for it with healthy, vigorous plants. I know it's tempting to cram as many plants into our gardens as possible. We want to make the most of every inch, especially if space is limited. But resist that temptation. Just like us, plants need their own space to breathe and grow. When we plant them too closely together, they start to compete for resources, light, water, and nutrients. Stressed plants are weaker and more susceptible to pests and diseases. Overcrowding reduces air circulation, creating the perfect environment for fungal diseases to take hold. Not only will your plants suffer, but you'll also end up with a dense, tangled mess that's difficult to manage. A good rule of thumb is to read the plant label and then give it at least half of the recommended spacing. Remember, it's always easier to fill in gaps than it is to thin out overcrowded plants. Give your plants room to breathe, and they'll reward you with healthy growth and a bountiful harvest. We've talked about the importance of understanding your climate zone, but just as important is getting to know your own garden. Every garden is different, with its own unique microclimates. Before you plant anything, take the time to observe your garden throughout the day. Where does the sun rise and set? Which areas are in shade and for how long? Are there any particularly windy spots? Sun-loving plants need at least 6 hours of direct sunlight a day, so don't make the mistake of planting them in a shady spot. Equally, there are plants that prefer a bit of shade, especially during the hottest part of the day. It's also important to consider the soil conditions in different parts of your garden. Some plants prefer well-drained soil, while others tolerate damp conditions. Get to know your garden's quirks and foibles, and choose your plants accordingly. We all know that plants need sunlight to grow, but it's surprising how many people forget to factor in sunlight requirements when choosing their plants. Different plants have different sunlight needs. Some, like tomatoes and peppers, need as much direct sunlight as they can get, whilst others, like hostas and ferns, prefer a shadier spot. Ignoring a plant's sunlight requirements is a surefire way to end up with disappointing results. A sun-loving plant stuck in the shade will become leggy and weak as it stretches for the light. It won't flower well, if at all, and it will be more susceptible to pests and diseases. On the other hand, a shade-loving plant placed in full sun will get scorched leaves and may even die. Always check the plant label or do a little online research to find out its sunlight requirements before you plant it. And don't be afraid to move plants around if you need to. You might be surprised at the difference the right amount of sunlight can make. Along with sunlight, water is essential for plant life. But just as too much sun can scorch a plant, so too can overwatering drown it. Different plants have different water needs. Some, like lavender and rosemary, prefer their soil to be on the dry side, whilst others, like hydrangeas and cucumbers, need regular watering, especially during hot weather. The key to success is to water deeply but infrequently. This encourages the roots to grow down deep into the soil, making the plant more resilient to drought. A good way to check if a plant needs watering is to stick your finger into the soil. If it feels dry an inch or so below the surface, then it's time to water. The amount of water a plant needs will vary depending on the weather, the time of year, and the type of soil you have. Use your common sense and adjust your watering accordingly. Now, this is where gardening gets really interesting. Just like people, plants can have relationships with each other. Some plants are happy to rub shoulders with anyone, whilst others are very choosy about their neighbors. This is where the idea of companion planting comes in. Certain plants, when planted together, can actually benefit each other. They might attract beneficial insects, deter pests, or improve the soil around them. For example, planting marigolds alongside tomatoes can help to deter whitefly, whilst basil planted near cucumbers can improve their flavor and deter aphids. On the other hand, some plants are best kept well apart. They might compete for the same resources, attract the same pests, or even release chemicals into the soil that inhibit the growth of other plants. Do a little research and find out which plants make good companions and which ones are best kept apart. You might be surprised at what you learn. Sadly, no matter how well we plan and care for our gardens, there will always be pests and diseases lying in wait, ready to pounce on our precious plants. But don't despair. There are plenty of things we can do to deter these unwelcome visitors and keep our plants healthy. The key is to be vigilant and to take action at the first sign of trouble. Regularly inspect your plants for any signs of pests or diseases, and don't be afraid to take action to control them. There are many organic pest control methods available, such as using insecticidal soap or neem oil, or introducing beneficial insects to your garden. Choose disease-resistant varieties whenever possible, and practice good garden hygiene, such as removing any diseased plant material immediately. One of the most common mistakes new gardeners make is to sow all their seeds or plant all their seedlings at once. This might seem like a good idea at the time, but it can lead to a glut of produce, followed by a long period of nothing to harvest. That's where succession planting comes in. This is simply the practice of sowing or planting small amounts of crops every few weeks throughout the growing season. This way, you'll have a continuous supply of fresh produce, rather than a feast followed by famine. It's also a good idea to plan for a fall garden. Many crops, such as lettuce, spinach, and radishes, can be sown in late summer for a fall harvest. When we're caught up in the excitement of planting a new garden, it's tempting to get carried away and try to do too much too soon. But starting small is the best way to avoid feeling overwhelmed, especially if you're new to gardening. Begin with a small plot, or even just a few containers. This will give you a chance to get to grips with the basics of gardening without feeling overwhelmed. Once you've got a bit more experience under your belt, you can then start to expand your garden gradually. Gardening should be enjoyable, so don't be afraid to experiment, make mistakes, and learn as you go. There you have it. Avoid these mistakes, and you'll be well on your way to a lush, thriving garden that brings you joy, satisfaction, and of course, plenty of delicious homegrown food. If you found this guide helpful, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to Don't Do This Guide. Share your gardening experiences in the comments. We'd love to hear from you. Happy gardening!